Boy,
Joe Dre, Wisconsin Voices policy guy.
what's up, Joe? How was your weekend?
Oh man, great weekend. Busy right before the holidays. I think everybody was got out and did a little shopping. I could tell that some other folks did the same as well. Looked a little busier on the roads, folks hitting the roads for Thanksgiving, and I think some of those early sales. So great weekend. Great weekend.
Yeah, I would say it was a pretty good weekend for me. I was telling you a little bit about mine, got to take it easy. But outside of that, definitely got to spend some time and, take some time for myself, trying to figure out all the last minute things I need to do in prepping for the food we keep talking about.
Oh, yeah.
Still want to hear about that food, guys. Do not be afraid to call in and tell us what you are cooking. Is it, is it a steak dish that you never made? Is it beef Wellington, like I said last week? Are you saying forget it and doing an Asian cuisine this year? Are you doing seafood? I know Jermaine said a lot of people was doing the seafood boils. You know what I'm saying? We know that's popular. Don't do a dirty seafood boil. Please clean your seafood. Get some butter, garlic that actually has some flavor, some savoring in it. We just want to make sure that everybody's eating good and feeling happy and euphoric this year. If not, there are multiple Thanksgiving places. If you don't feel like cooking, which I know a lot of people said they just don't want to cook. So I know seen a few places, and you had some too, right? For places, did you have anything for us?
Not as far as the meals, but I do have the warming centers we're going to get into here in a little while.
Cool. So as far as a couple meals, I did see a few people posted some earlier. I think people was showing. Again, these are some of the free turkeys, or two of the turkey giveaways that's happening today in Milwaukee. It's a drive-through event. That will be at the King Community Center, 1531 West Fleet Street. That will be going from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. One turkey per family. If you want you a turkey, get over there right now and go ahead and statue up a turkey. We do have another one, United Neighborhood Centers of Milwaukee, 1609 West North Avenue. That'll be at 4 p.m. Free turkeys and pumpkin pie.
Ooh,
pumpkin pie. I'm not a pumpkin pie guy, but I respect
whipped cream or ice cream. That's it. Oh, it's so good. It's good with whipped cream or ice cream.
I'm a sweet potato guy. Pumpkin pie, really, I ain't got into it. I did like the little pumpkin joints McDonald's had. I tried one of them a couple years ago, and I thought that was good. It had like the little cream in the inside with the.
Yep, that's what it's about, man.
Yeah. I don't know.
Gotta have that whipped cream or that vanilla ice cream on top of it.
Yeah, I guess it seemed like you got to, unless I guess it ain't worth it. I know with a good sweet potato pie, you don't need none of that.
Right. Right. I get it.
Yeah, but those are two of the spots. Again, you got drive-through events at King Community Drive, 1531 West Fleet. Get over there if you are in the car. Go ahead and snatch you up a turkey for the fam or for somebody else's family. 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. at one turkey per family for them. Excuse me. United Neighborhood Centers of Milwaukee, 1609 West North 9th Street, West North Ave Street. Excuse me, I said 9th Street. 4 p.m. Free turkeys and pumpkin pie. So just to get that off, I guess to stay in that same lane, would you segue into what you got?
It's going to get cold here, Brian. Here
it's about to drop out, right?
It's about to drop out after Thanksgiving. So I just wanted to let folks know that there's some area warming shelters. They start today, November 25th, and will run through Monday, March 31st. According to a November 15th press release from the Milwaukee Coalition on Housing and Homelessness. The centers will operate from 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. daily. Priority placement will take place from 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. daily for individuals verified to be sleeping outdoors. And here are the 4 locations across Milwaukee. Guest House of Milwaukee at 1216 North 13th Street. United Lutheran Church at 1025 East Oklahoma Avenue. St. Benedict and Moore Parish at 930 West State Street, and Repairers of the Breach at 1335 West Violet Street.
Oh, Violet.
Sorry. You can also. I know we're working on those street names here.
Yeah, you gonna get them right.
I will.
You're doing pretty good so far, though. I haven't heard you slaughter too many.
Yeah. Tatonia. I got that one.
All right. Tatonia.
You can visit the City of Milwaukee's website for more information on cold weather safety and warming shelters. You can also visit 211's website for more information on warming centers in the greater Milwaukee area. And for more information on overnight shelters, call 211.
Cool. Thank you for that. Yes. Yeah, we want to make sure our people. If you got any jackets or anything like that, get it to the people. If you just like get it directly to the folks, you know, you definitely can see a few of our organizations or contact Wisconsin Voices, and we can definitely see who or where we need to get those jackets to, or if you got any, we'll definitely make sure we get those to the proper connect. So if you got any jackets that you may want to drop off, we are always open, so we can make sure we get them out to the people in the community, because we want to see, you know, less deaths from the cold this winter. Every year we see either from house fires, and they're already starting. I was even looking out on Titonia and some areas that I'm close to, right outside of Brown Deer. There was some house fires at some fires at some mechanic shops, and a couple random house fires across the city the last couple weeks or so. So people, be careful, monitor what you put in your heat around, give your heaters the space in the house. You know, we want to make sure that we are seeing the whole winter and going into the next year alive, not burnt up to
check on your neighbors too,
and check on your neighbors, especially our elderly
disabled, you know, whatever. Make sure when the weather drops like that you're checking on them, because there's been some reports in previous years where, you know, the heat goes out and elderly or disabled don't have the ability to reach out for help, and they'll just sit there right in their home and freeze. So we want to make sure that we're checking on those folks.
Yeah, I like that. I appreciate that. So I guess it's been I guess things just keep changing, and we got a lot of. First, before we get into that, some of the topics we'll get into today. We're definitely going to discuss some of the winter parking changes that you guys need to know across the city. We'll just look at some community topics, what's going on locally, or some things that are just, you know, coming into effect, whether it's a closing of any stores or any places that you may frequent in the community. We want to make sure you guys keeping aware of. Are you guys being caught up and aware of that as well? Oh, my bad, Jermaine. I thought you was talking to me. Oh, okay. Oh, you was looking at that. Yeah, the news. I know it's a little wild. Shout out to Jaron and the squad at WISN over there. They covering some crazy topics right now. It's nonstop, ain't it? It is. I told you, man. We just got done talking about it. We're looking at house fair, pets rescue. Yeah, it's a lot going
check
on.
Your furnace.
Yeah, big time.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Little Chihuahua sitting outside.
Fire on
Greyhound mixed with a Chihuahua. Yeah, you got all types of dogs. It's too many dogs. All right, so yeah, we just want to make sure y'all are aware of what's going on in the community and things that's coming up. Any holiday events, any turkey events, any updates that we may have across the community. Right now, it looks like they're talking about the turkey drive giveaway at the moment, but I guess we can shift gears and kind of talk about what you've seen too. I know they ain't Political Tuesday, but we did have something that came across the aisle, or some interesting exchanges.
Yeah. I'm going to start local first, Brian. We're going to go local to national here with a little quick political update. So as we know that we've had a shortage of police officers and firefighters within the city of Milwaukee.
Yeah.
The mayor has done a press release. The city is inviting current police officers from other jurisdictions with at least 1 year of experience to sign up to serve in Milwaukee. Those who enroll to be a police officer in the next few weeks could be eligible for a $10,000 bonus. And the reason for this is pressure mounts to recruit new hires for both police and fire due to a bipartisan law called Act 12. And according to Act 12, if the Milwaukee Police Department and Fire Department do not maintain staffing levels year over year, they could lose 15% of their shared revenue funding from the state. So definitely, this is a problem that I think I faced as well when I was on city council. Just trying to get those experienced firefighters and police officers to come serve in your municipality. And it always seems to be a bidding war between municipalities and counties, and everyone wants to, once one gets a bump in pay, well, hey, maybe this community might, they're offering more money, maybe I'm going to go there. So the next community bumps up their pay, and then you see a migration over there. So it's definitely a shortage across the board, and you see municipalities, counties, even the State Highway Patrol fighting for those candidates.
Well, it makes sense, because I remember years ago, or maybe not even years ago, it was a long time ago. I remember seeing it. I'm even looking at all these brothers right now that's in law enforcement that I'm looking. I mean, you see a lot more brothers as sheriffs, and a lot more brothers that's from Milwaukee, that are sheriffs and Milwaukee police officers that I've probably seen. I don't know the numbers now, and it might just be me just being more aware of it, but it seems like it's way more Milwaukee County Black sheriff officers now. And maybe that's just me, and maybe that's just the where they stick them at when I see them, or maybe they just stick some of the law enforcement officers to try to be closer to the community. The younger ones specifically, they like them to be closer to like some of the stuff on Water Street or some of the other stuff. But it seems to me I see like a lot more minority officers. Besides the one thing, as far as the bringing in the officers from other communities, it's they have to do some retraining. You just can't have folks come down here and just applying for jobs and then just thinking that just because they worked out there in Plymouth.
Yeah, policing there is a lot different than policing down here in Milwaukee,
because they're going to get the attention of some people from like Portage and all these places up north, and they're going to come down here. And if you already got a disdain towards a group of people, individuals, blacks, Latinos, or anybody else that don't look like you, and you come down here and you want to be a cop in the city of Milwaukee, you need to at least practice or start looking at the culture of the city, if anything else, especially if you really are serious about your job. I mean, that's just how I see it. I'm really not a fan of a lot of people from up north and all these other places sliding into Milwaukee trying to protect or quote unquote protect people or act like you're trying to protect people, and then you really don't really care for the people. It's just the extra $10,000 and $20,000, $40,000 in overtime, because they kill in overtime.
Oh yeah,
they do.
I'm sure
a lot of cops in the city of Milwaukee definitely kill in overtime. Detectives, all that. Especially the detectives. They was showing. They every year they show. I don't know if you seen it. They show the numbers every year. So, if they come down here and they doing it, for work and trying to protect and be positive addition to the Milwaukee Police Department, but coming down here just for the check. Because like you said, that's funny you said that. I remember seeing like different suburbs, but especially when I was younger, I would see that some of the suburbs were offering more money. Like I remember, was it Glendale or Tulsa? Maybe 10, 15 years ago, they was paying way more than Milwaukee was.
Yeah, I even in my short time on city council, I can't tell you the number of times we talked about raises for police officers and firefighters and how to attract younger police officers and firefighters that are not just going to be here for a year or two, get their training, and then go off to a suburb where you don't have the the workload.
Yeah, that's what it is. Yeah.
Yeah, and when you have these smaller municipalities as well offering bonuses that match this, better benefits or better more time off or whatever it is, more pay usually is what it comes
newer
down
vehicle
to. Newer vehicals, better
they got
equipment.
The new Hellcats out there, and you can go out in Brookfield, they got the Hellcats, but I heard Milwaukee was going to get a couple supercharged turbo and powers with the headers, and depending on where you want to be at, the perks could be different for each cop. Like, man, I'm cool, man, I don't like driving the I don't like the issued Glocks. I like the other issued Glocks that they give us down there, or they got issued 6 hours over here, whatever the case may be. So I'm sure it's a lot of things that come into play. And like you said, the biggest is health insurance, overtime, the workload,
the stress load of, some of the crimes that you would see in Milwaukee compared to maybe in a suburb, or the volume of crime, and calls that you would get. So
and not the ones that just sweeping under the rug in the suburbs.
Yeah, let's just say you'd be working pretty hard here. I mean, those officers go on call after call after call, and a lot of times they get backlogged and they can't even clear out all their logs before their shift's up. And I think that's where you run into a lot of overtime as well.
Yeah.
But I agree with you, Brian, about there has to be if we're going to bring these officers in from outside of Milwaukee, there has to be a level of training, especially when it comes to community policing.
Yeah.
There's a different way to do it here in Milwaukee than it's done in the suburbs. And I really hope that if they do come in, that there's some level of training as far as community policing goes.
Absolutely, bro. Appreciate that. Thanks for that.
Sir.
Thanks for that update.
Yes, sir.
All right, what you got for us?
We'll just continue on down the line, huh? So we're moving to a little bit more federal policy here, and there's been a bill that's kind of been out there and hanging out there in the Senate. Just recently passed through committee, and we like to keep folks updated on what's really happening down there. We try to pull out the ones that really stand out.
Yep.
This bill is called the Dismantle DEI Act, or Senate Bill 4516. It was introduced by none other than Senator J.D. Vance. and it aims to strip federal agencies, contractors, and educational institutions of their diversity, equity, and inclusion programs. It would rescind relevant executive orders, terminate the chief diversity officers, close DEI offices, end DEI and critical race theory training, outlaw mandatory employee DEI pledges, and revoke all DEI funding at various federal agencies. And we talked, I think it was last week, we talked a little bit about executive orders and how those work, and once the one administration comes in, they're going to wipe away all the executive orders of the previous administration. So here's some of the executive orders that this is aimed at. Executive Order 13985, which relates to advancing racial equality and supporting underserved communities through the federal government. Executive Order 13988, relating to preventing and combating discrimination on the basis of gender identity or sexual orientation. And the list goes on. I have about 7 or 8 executive orders that this particular bill really takes aim at. We'll see those go away, I'm sure, January 20. And it's just sobering to read some of the legislation that comes down the pike now, and the boldness. Brian, your thoughts?
Yeah, I want to hear everybody's thoughts on this one.
Yeah.
I think it keeps the order, some DEI, and just things change in our. And it's not just for the Black. It's not just for the Latinos or any other groups that have been threatened by diversity or things of any type of any type of issues in the workplace that could have been caused by some type of racism or some type of prejudice or something like that. All types of groups. So this has been these DEI and people being able to come in and talk to folks and keep things, because we are United States. There are cultural, there's groups of all types. I believe that this should always remain at some place. And yes, people say, yeah, well, Black people or groups of people were getting hired before this, but we've seen it increase, and we've seen some changes since a lot of these DEI rules or policies have been put in place. This is just another way to say that one group feel like they've been picked on because of this DEI, and now they want to remove it, so it won't be an issue with them, or so they won't be feeling like this guilt trip, or so they won't have to be reminded of the things that they tend to, or the things that they've had to control over. And there's nothing wrong with being a part of something, but then not, or being in a group. Like they really talked about the white heterosexual male that's been bothered by this. Okay, it's cool to acknowledge that. Yeah, okay, I got this advantage, but also I should be aware of what's going on around me and how people feel in these workplaces, whether you in a federal workplace or you working for a nonprofit like how we working. You should feel like, one, you should want to be aware of what's going on in your community around you. And you should also want to be caught up on, how can I assist people, especially I'm in a position of power. How can I assist people feeling comfortable in their position? So I think that any DEI or anything that's being threatened, we already know is just going to set a lot of areas back. It's going to stop a lot of folks from really trying to bring any inclusion into their into their jobs, even though it's been proven that workplaces that have diversity in them are way more successful.
Absolutely. And here's the thing, Brian, and correct me if I'm wrong, guys.
Yeah.
The best way to combat racism is education, is teaching other folks about other cultures.
Yeah.
Well, the more you learn, the more you have an understanding for someone's culture, the more you can respect it and appreciate it. And this just cuts the legs right under from that education piece of educating folks that came from places like I came from that didn't have any diversity in it, that were whitewashed communities. And it was through DEI that we learned a lot about other cultures and other communities, and that, hey, you're not out here. We're all in this together. Like, there's other people out there. There's Asian. There's Hispanic or Latino. There's the Black community. There's so many different communities and folks that we need to learn more about them and celebrate them and respect their culture instead of putting it down.
Right, because inside those, excuse me for cutting you out, Joe, but
Yeah, go
inside
ahead.
that black community, inside the Hispanic, like Latino, the white community, all white groups we all have different ways that we act, and sometimes the cultural groups outside of that one way that one black person may interact with another black person may not be the same, may not be the same. White, we see it all the time. So that's another, as far as diversity and just the culturally, just understanding how certain people act, with inside their own groups, because some of the little code things that we all know amongst each other that just naturally that's instilled in us that we have over time. Some of that is cultural. So a lot of it's cultural. So we, being aware of it. Oh no, I didn't mean it like that, man. When I kind of nudged into you, that's our way of just showing you a little love. No, right. In my culture, that means you had a problem with me. What I'm saying? So those are little things, that we can identify. Like, oh, you good? I know what he meant. And we see that happen in a lot of we do it in the office sometimes. Even little stuff we talk about or things, like, oh, that means this or this way. And it could be something that could be amongst a group of black people where it's an age thing. It may not even just be right. A black on black thing. It could be an older black male thing and a young black male thing. But I know we got a call before we take a break. Call you on air.
Go ahead, caller.
Yes, I got it. I'm listening to the gentleman. He was reading off the executive orders. Could you read those off one more time with me on the phone? I'm listening to the other panelists there. Could you read those off again slowly, please?
Absolutely. I could go through all of them, actually.
No. Go. I don't have that much time. I don't want to be fat mouth. No, I just want the panelists to listen to what you're saying.
Right. Go ahead. Executive Order 13985. And that is relating to advancing racial equality and support of underserved communities through the federal government. Now
right there. Now, right there. That one right there. Number one. That is what that's what actually gets the reaction from the black community aroused. The most radical of us all is the black man. The radical, we're emotional, and we're very loud. Number one is what stir up me and you, little fella that's on the panel, big fella that's on the panel. Now, go ahead on, sir, with the next one. But that one right there is the one that's going to energize our base.
Yeah, right.
Energize the black base to get involved. Now, watch this. Real careful. Go ahead, sir.
13988, which relating to preventing and combating discrimination on the basis of gender identity or sexual orientation.
Right there. See that right there? They just energized the black vote. The black base got us excited because it's talking about equality and popo. We understand where we're coming from. But here's what they do. They inject this next one. What was the next one you just said?
I have a couple more here. There's another one, executive order.
Why are you jumping over the one you just said, though?
Oh, no, the one I just said was 13988.
Right, go ahead. What did it say?
13988 said relating to preventing and combating discrimination on the basis of gender identity and sexual orientation.
Right. Now, that's that one right there. But you already energized the radical black voice and the emotional one, the one that pushed the door open to get this stuff in. Now, what's the next one?
The next one is relating to the establishment of the White House Gender Policy Council.
Same thing as number 2. That's the same thing. Homosexuality still involved with that. Go ahead.
The next one is relating to advancing equality, justice, and opportunity for Asian Americans, Native Hawaiians, and Pacific Islanders.
Pacific. You hear what that said? It doesn't say anything about black folk. But go ahead. I want you to keep going because I didn't read it, but I want these people to listen. Go ahead.
Relating to diversity, equity, and inclusion and accessibility in the federal workforce.
Now, you know what that is. That goes back to number 2 again. See, it's still that reverts you back to gender. What happens is it's got the black voice radical saying, "Oh, y'all doing this? You just go ahead to the next one, sir."
Sure. Yeah, relating to further advancing racial equality and support for underserved communities through the federal government. That's 14091.
Okay, but that's the same as number 1, basically.
It kind of, yes.
Yeah. Go ahead. I'm ready. Go ahead. Just go ahead.
And that was our last one, really. Yeah, that was the last executive order there that this is really aiming towards.
What it does, Is it after it lights the fire for the black base at number one, then it runs through the homosexual stuff and the identity, gender, and then it rekindles and re-energizes the fire again at the end to put it back in the black man's mind. Look, we've got to realize something.
So,
It's not the white heterosexual that's had enough of this. It's black strong heterosexual men that has had enough of this, because it takes a man and a woman to make a homosexual period or a lesbian period. So this is the thing. This is the thing. We've got to quit playing games. They know what they're doing. They know that they got to erase all of that garbage and basically put the train back on the track again. So listen, black man.
We're a progressive country, Meech. We can't just they ain't taking things off the track.
No, we're not a progressive country.
Our people, we want to be a progressive country. The people that's running this country a lot are homosexuals, are people that are in high positions that are doing great things for this country. We can't just throw people off and say that they don't count just because because what they do in their bed or what they do behind the scenes or what they do in their personal lives. We can't. That don't make sense. You know what I'm saying? That's not where we at. You know.
Okay, listen, brother.
But it's not going to be just on that group. It's going to be on multiple groups. So you have friends of background, Latino, Asian, black. You're black. You ain't concerned about your cousin or your nephew being, your cousin or your niece or whoever not being able to get a position because they took away some DEI or they lose their job and they was a DEI officer at the Fortune 500 that they work at. I mean, it's a lot of changes that's realistically going to happen, not to just one group, which shouldn't happen to no groups.
You're right. Now listen to this right here. In a perfect world, you would be extremely right. When you come to progressivism, if a person is in his bedroom doing his thing, whatever you got to do, my specific religious belief forbids it. But if you're doing that, so be it. You figure it out on the other side. But when the problem is when it comes outside the house and then it's in sports, or they become the bullies now, brother. You understand that you can't even, you're scared. And then look here, you can't even say certain words on that radio station. You can't, because guess what? There's a group of people that will use that as a hate speech. Now, when they first put hate speech out there, who did they energize? They energized the black base. Hate speech. Them white folks, they energized the black. They energized the black base to gender up hate speech. But who's the recipient of hate speech?
Mr. Meach. Mr. Meach. Mr. Meach. This is Tamika. How you doing?
You in the house.
You know what? Let me tell you. I was driving.
I know you was in the house. I wouldn't even call.
Listen, I was on my way. I wasn't going to do the radio show today. And I was driving by. I had to stop to address some of the things that you were saying.
No, I'm not.
I just said address. I'm not going to argue. I just wanted to address. I 100% agree with you on your first point, which they have energized with that. The first one, they energized the Black community to try to come together, work, and learn. But this is where the divide happens. The gender and sexual orientation, but there's a gender that is women. And it has nothing to do with homosexuality or LGBT. It's just women. And there are Black women among those women, and we are discriminated against in the gender sector of the world. So yes, there may be a part of that says LGBT, but it's still gender, which I am.
It doesn't say anything about women specifically.
It says gender, and that is what gender is.
That's right.
But that's the problem. They take it and not just look at it.
You're not the recipient of it. See, listen, if you
don't necessarily know what I'm the recipient in it or not of. I mean, you don't live the day-to-day life that I live. You don't know what discriminating things that I could go through on a day-to-day, not just because I'm Black, but because I'm a woman too.
Right.
So there is things that can be done that is gender based, that has nothing to do with what people do in their bedroom. And this is the problem with this whole situation, is that we just want equity for everybody, no matter what they get to do. I'm not judging. I'm not trying to judge. I don't care what someone else does in their bedroom. I just want to be able to, if I'm going to get a business, I want to be able to equally get a loan. If I want to buy a house, I want to equally be able to buy a house. If there is a job that I'm up for, I want to equally be able to get that job because of that. And what detours this from, and what detours this is the conversation that you're having right now, where you are putting a highlight on the LGBT part of it instead of the Black part, instead of the Asian part, instead of the Pacific Islander part, instead of the Latino part.
Because believe it or not, Tamika, the white heterosexual that's putting this stuff up, that's fighting against it, his battle is not with the Black or the white. His battle is with the situation. And if that's the case, then why aren't they standing up for the men that are going to these women's sports?
Every single law. You know what this is? There is a two sections, and I'm just really finding clear. There is a anti-Blackness and then there's also a protection of whiteness. And those are the two things. And whatever conversation they can, in any conversation that can detour from those two things, that is the problem. Like, we need to talk about anti-Blackness and whiteness superiority.
Well, I would like to address the thing that you just said about the gender deal. What about that women? Why aren't women coming out speaking against people that are going into these sports, that are dominating sports, where little girls are practiced from a youth up to make it to the Olympics? Why aren't the women right now standing up for that? I know.
Here's the thing. You're still doing it. I don't care what you're saying. What you're doing is you're still trying to find a way that instead of having equity that is a small part of the world. But they take, what is it? Less than 1% of the population is transgender. But it is a huge conversation when we should just be talking about equity in general. And if we can get equity for, and you know what really happens? If we get equity for Black people, do you know everything else comes in the line? It has always happened that way.
You sound like Miss Harris said, if she do something for Black folks, the rest of the world will.
No, I didn't say that. I said when we get equity for Black people, because all of this stuff, everything ends up being, if we get equity for Black people, like, I'll give you an example. And this is one of the things. We marched hard. Millions of people marched for the George Floyd bill. Millions of people wanted that. And then what happened? We detoured it, got rid of it, and then there is some Asian hate crimes. They have an Asian hate crime bill, but we don't have a George Floyd bill. It's because every time we keep looking at something instead of focusing on what we need to do is get equity. And once we get equity and equality, everything else won't matter. LGBT, guess what? They'll have equity because Black people have equity. Latinos have equity. It is going to be, we have to fight this fight together, or the whiteness of the society, the institutional racism of the society will never go.
Listen, there's only one real person that has blood and sweat equity in this country. Death and sweat equity. And that is the Black man in America. Listen, when I hear this other stuff, that's the Trojan horse that they're using. And it was done back in the 70s, and then they revived it to see where they could actually fit in. And they fit in, and they got this in, and me and you and our children and children's children are going to be in trouble. So listen, I appreciate the few minutes of fame, Tamika. Had I known you was in there, I wouldn't call, girl. I knew
Oh,
you
because
gonna give me
well, I
the
was on my way to work, but
I knew
I
you was gonna
had to
give me the
stop
business.
by.
But listen, hey, listen, I appreciate you guys. But go back when you talk about those executive orders, you'll see where they energize you at the beginning, they put their stuff in the middle, and then they put it in the Trojan horse, and then they re-energize you again with the same number one to get you back on fire. See, black folks got to wake
No,
up.
what it
That's
is
the thing.
they maybe have you ever thought about its importance? They listed
No,
it
it's
as
good game.
important.
It's good game.
But
I'm
okay,
a player.
but no,
I'm a player.
we're
I'm
not
not
going to
gonna let
argue
no
about that.
amateur con.
It is
Look,
all
amateur
about
con.
it's all
They're
about
amateur con men.
interpretation.
They're amateur con men, and I'm not gonna let them work me over. Okay.
Well, that's okay. Because I'm resting for 4 years anyway. So, all right. Thank you.
Thanks. Yeah.
Y'all, I'm sorry. I had to.
Thanks for the call anyway, Mies. I'm glad you stopped in. I see Joe get up. Where's Joe going?
I just, I was literally driving to work, and I'm, I got stuff to do, but I heard him call, and I was like, I'm gonna keep going. I'm gonna keep going. I'm gonna keep going. Oh no, I got stuff.
That's top white privilege right there. Menendez brothers think they need to get out. Talking about they need a resentencing. Oh my God.
This is. I mean, we have seen. We have seen. I don't even know enough about that case because I just don't. I mean, I remember it back when it happened, but it depends on what you look at. But here is my thing: we have to stop putting it's sad. It's really sad in our community that we need to, as Black people, need to fight together, because every single thing that has ever happened for equity has started with Black men and women doing it, fighting the good fight. Now we tired, Black women. I'm sorry, but I'm tired. I am tired.
It's been 60, 70 years.
But all you got to do
of fighting.
All you got to do is ask us what you need to do, and we'll direct y'all. We got another call. Go ahead.
Lord have mercy, Jesus.
Hi. Hey, what you laughing at?
Excuse me, Miss Tamika Bubakrish. I got it wrong again, didn't I?
It's okay, because I know you're saying it in love.
You know that's right. But Miss Tamika Bubakrish, I just want to thank you so much for Action Wisconsin.
Wisconsin Voices.
Excuse me.
It's Wisconsin Voices, not Action Wisconsin.
Oh, I'm sorry. It's all good.
But you know what? But we are actioning in Wisconsin, so it's okay. We making action happen in Wisconsin.
But anyway, I want to thank you, Tamika Bukowicz, for having what you have going on, and you tell the but naked truth. Because come on now. What we got to face now is Donald Trump in the House. And what he's trying to do is kind of, erase Black people's history.
Look,
they're trying to erase our being here.
He can't erase what we know. I mean, they can take it out of the book, but if generation after generation, when I heard my grandmother talk, when I heard my mom talk, when I talk about the things that she has taught me, our parents have taught, our ancestors have taught, he can try. But this is when, I'm telling you, when you push African Americans, Black people against the wall, they eventually say enough is enough. You want us to be like, okay, I ain't doing nothing. You better leave me alone. But when you push us to the brink, something comes and charges into us, and we have energy like nobody's business. So I'm just saying that. Thank you, sir, for calling.
But before you kick me to the curb,
I'm not kicking you to the curb.
Yeah, I know. I'm just messing. But anyway, you're absolutely right. One thing I would like to add to that. First of all, I want to thank everybody there in the studio. Hey, Joe.
Hey, how you doing?
United States Navy.
Yes, sir.
Scrub it up, 3 kids in the cup.
Joe has served this country.
Right? I just want to say, sir, thank you for your service again.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
You're welcome. And thank you for being there.
Yes, sir.
All right,
That's the reason. But anyway, Tamika, what
yes.
you were just saying, excuse me for addressing you by your first name.
You can,
Like your
please.
partner,
Please
Tyler
do.
Banks.
No, please do.
Okay. Okay. But Tamika, I was going to say thank you for what you're doing with your show and everybody there. But y'all tell it like it is. And matter of fact, where is Jermaine?
Well, you know, I'm right here. I'm listening to you tell it like it is, Jay Tizzle. That's my man right there. That's Jay Tizzle right there, man.
Yeah, no, I was. So I was supposed to be on my way to work. I'm finna take this next call, and I'm gonna let them handle the rest of it. But I really was like, I cannot keep letting people give a narrative that is untrue, or not even that it's untrue. I'm sorry, Mr. Meach. It's your truth. Your truth. And everybody has their truth. But there are certain things that are factual, and it's certain things that are I don't know how to sketchy. But the thing is, why is it always we get divided? It's like we have Black people in the LGBT community, but we forget that they also are Black too, and we still need to protect them. Do they not get protection because they're LGBT?
I mean, at the end of the day, they still people.
That's what I'm saying.
That's what it's all about.
You know
There's
what I mean?
people.
They still people. So, you know, whatever you do on your own time is what you do. I don't care. All I care is about, you know, everything being equal, regardless of what you do in your burial.
I want equity because it will never be equal. Because
Well,
some
yeah.
of the things have to be
You're
given
right.
to the people of color
You're right.
to get them to be equal
Yeah, you're right.
to white America. We got another call. Caller, I'm sorry for taking so long. Go ahead.
Oh, that's okay. Thank you for taking my call. Assalamu alaikum to you. I know some people
Is
call
this
and they gotta
Chris?
give y'all like a
Yeah.
1,000 thank yous and all that other stuff to talk nonsense. I'm gonna try to be quick to the point. Yes. This is Chris. My name is Christopher. I
Took
don't
a
like
shot
calling
at
Oh,
him.
say
trying to announce myself like I'm some special person who thinks he's a celebrity walking around here in Milwaukee like
no,
that guy who
Christopher.
calls
We
me on the
just
telephone on the
recognize your
radio.
wait. We just
No, no.
recognize your voice, and we just
Yes,
wanted to
ma'am.
say thank you for the people who actually listen and call. That was the only reason why I wanted to
No,
acknowledge you.
it's okay. I appreciate that. But see, that's what I'm saying. When you saying what you saying, I appreciate that, the accolades. But I don't want anyone to ever think that I'm walking around Milwaukee, floating, hovering above the ground, thinking I'm some pseudo celebrity running around here like I'm some, my name is Christopher. Look at me, blah 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 blah. No, I'm just your brother. I'm just a regular dude, just do regular things. But here's
Now,
my
you know what? If you stood in front of, I mean, I just know your voice. If you stood in front of me, I would have no clue who you were. So I don't think you're
this is
acting
not
that way.
directed to. This not even. Thank you for helping me to keep clarity with regard to who I am. I just don't like when some people, and I'm not that person, and I've even been on stage and all this other crazy stuff, but I just never look at myself like that my poo don't is not putrid. Poo stinks wherever it comes from. So this is what I wanted to say. With regard to us as a people, I think, and since I've been here for a while now, I'm getting old. I'm like, oh my God, look at this. And I see the same things that my parents, when I was a little bitty child, a little dude, didn't even know what was going on, walking down the street, in the middle of the street, protesting, talking about we shall overcome, or we're going to do this and we're going to do that. And it's been a long time. I participated in some stuff on my own as well. But I think for us, our Achilles heel is that we lack focus when it comes to us as a people. Everybody else focuses on their own before how to say it like this. The Bible says charity begins at home, then it spreads abroad. You have to take care of your own self before you can go out here thinking that you can be everything and all things to anyone. And our primary, where we keep fumbling, is that we are so inclusive to everyone when they are exclusive when it comes to us. We do not have sincere, genuine friendships in this society or throughout the diaspora in the world. Most people come here to use us. They come with the mentality of a vulture to pick the dry bones or to get the rest of the little meat that's left on the dead bones of a once great people. So if
So,
we do not, yes, ma'am. I
so
apologize.
I'm sorry. I just wanted to
Don't be
not
sorry.
cut you off, but we got
It's all right.
another caller on. But
And
what I'm
I'm
going to
gonna go.
say, I
Yes.
actually agree with a point that you're making,
hmm
is that other cultures,
They take advantage of us.
no, that's not what I was going to say. Other cultures do self-preservation first, and
Right.
then
That's right.
and African Americans usually try to help everybody
Right. We
because that is our
always
nature.
well.
It's our
Hold
nature
up.
to be nurturing.
Well, we
We're the mother and the
always
father of the country. I mean, of the universe, of the land. So
civilization. I understand that, but I didn't make these Caucasians. They didn't come from me, so I'm not taking that. But I hear what you're talking about. They came from whoever they came from. I didn't create them. What we have
you
to
didn't
do.
create any of them, but I'm just
No,
saying.
they didn't come
But
from
you
my
understand
land.
what I mean
I
by
know what
that.
you're talking about. I know because we're the first people, the original, and anything outside of original is devil. So those people who are other than us, they're
But
non-original.
see,
And
then,
my focus
but
is
this
on us.
is okay.
First, we must uplift ourselves. Then we can talk about considering you as our friend or an ally. That's what I have to say.
And all right, thank you, Chris. And Chris has I mean, he had a point to the until he called everybody the devil. But we will find out what happens in the next 4 years. We will find out that the only true people that are safe are white males. Women's rights will be hit. People of color will be hit.
Joe, do you feel safe?
LGBT will be hit. Let's take the next call. Line 5. Line 5, yeah. Go ahead, line 5.
Yes. Just looking at the situation at hand, we people of color, black people. Let me say black people. I ain't gonna say color. We fought the fight for all of the things that we deserve because we don't get reparations for nothing that we suffered. But the thing here is that every other race that comes in here to the United States get the same benefits. And as they get these benefits, they're not going to fight with us. But we continue to fight for the whole thing. But they fight for themselves.
And that's what we just have to step back, reevaluate. I believe. Look, my organization does BIPOC, disenfranchised and underserved people. We're not going to change who we are or what we are because it is needed.
It's hard. It's hard to see that our people won't stand together, and fight with each other. And every time we do have a leader that's out here fighting for us, they disenfranchise us one way or another.
Well, you can put your faith in Wisconsin Voices. We're going to try to do what we can to. We have policy stuff that we're doing. We're going to build this 2025. We have policies that we're going to be working towards to try to get our state legislature, our county, our city, our cities to do what's right.
I look at our women, and our women do suffer a lot because not only they're black
and they're tired. And we tired.
But then our men, we have so many black men that don't want to own property real estate because they have this child support leaning on them and they don't know how to deal with that matter. So how are we going to get, equity and generational wealth when these guys running around here and don't know how to deal with the matters that keeping them say, hey man, if I go get this, it's going to have a lien on it. Well, if I go buy that, it's going. If I work towards this, it's not for me.
Okay. Well, we only have a couple of minutes. I'm going to address that, and then we're gonna, and then we'll be back. But here's the thing: personal responsibility.
Yes.
Making decisions that will enhance you.
Yes.
All of us have issues. All of us have problems, but most of us seem to work through them. It's taking stock on ourselves. What do we want in our lives? How can we help the people that we need to help and keep going? We only got a couple more minutes. We got one more caller. Caller number 6, go ahead.
Yes, excuse me for calling back again. I'm going to make it real quick. Please don't get mad at me for calling in again.
Oh, no worries.
But I just want to say, again, thank Action Wisconsin for being there.
Wisconsin Voices.
Yes. And hey, y'all, come on now. Donald Trump, they're in trying to do 2025. Let's be real. But watch out for that. Thank you. Bye.
Maybe that's our theme for next year. Action Wisconsin.
Action Wisconsin.
You know what? I am sorry to the WNOV family and the people. I literally was on my way to work. I had a great week off. And then I saw on the live Joe's nose flaring a little bit. And then
just a little.
And then I saw Brian just put his head down.
Brian started pacing. He stood up.
You know what? We're not trying to argue with people. What we really want to do is have robust conversations, but hear other people's opinions, but also try to debunk some of the misinformation we have out there. Some of what Meech says is, how do I put it? It's okay. I mean, it is. He's saying some factual stuff but twisting it for me. And this is just for me. We are a forgiving people. We are a forgiving group. We are an inclusive group as Black and Black people in general. But we're not inclusive when it comes to Black men and Black women. There's always a separation of their issues and their problems. We need to put those problems and issues together to make it better. Thank you guys. I'm just wondering what is Brian and Jermaine looking outside at?
It was just a clip of Jennifer Hudson's show. Oh. Her guest was just. I was telling. I know somebody who works on the show down.
All of a sudden, we talking about how to bring the people together, and all of a sudden,
Hood is bringing the people together.
That was most definitely bringing DEI. That brought me and Brian together.
Yeah, it did.
It did.
Her show has a great Black cast and groups of minorities, Latinos working for J Hood's show. So shout out to J Hood out there in LA, Shot Town.
Yeah.
Y'all know that it's Thanksgiving almost.
You doing what I said you're packing, you're shopping.
Oh, dude, Mike went out there. You know, Mike do my shop. I hate shopping.
Oh yeah.
It's like I hate grocery stores. I hate malls. I hate shopping. I will rather go clean somebody's house than go shopping. But I have everything that I need. We got about anywhere between 15 and 20 people rolling through our house because we open it up to everybody who want a meal.
Nice.
Some people have family but just want to come and play cards at the end of the night. Last time, 2 years ago, they played Uno. And that Uno, wait, here's the thing. That Uno game lasted like 3 hours. And I'm like, why is this Uno game lasting 3 hours? Everybody, and then somebody realized that they only had half the card.
Oh my God.
So they kept, shuffling this little small pack of cards. So, what was that? Douce? Is that the alcohol?
Douce,
yeah. Douce was flowing. That Tito's was flowing.
Douce.
What is that other one?
Casamigos.
No, it was
more Douce.
Something 20, 44 North or 40 North or something like that.
Yeah.
That's the vodka.
That was all flowing in the house. So I was like, okay, we have issues. All right. Want to do one last, if y'all like what we do, because we have to start promoting it, please click the donation button on wisconsinvoices.org. It is Giving Tuesday coming up next Tuesday. To do this work, we have to start fundraising and getting money into the door. help us. I mean, I'm just going to be blatant. We need to make sure that we keep our doors open and keep things going. And we have a killer year planned. I mean, I'm excited about we're going straight into Civics 101 classes. We will be running a how to run for office in a nonpartisan way. We are going to do youth programs. Our youth program starts in January. If you are interested, please give us a call, give us your kid. The youth program is for give us your kid, because we 16 through 21. This is our youth program. We are going to be financial literacy. I actually have a side thing that I'm doing that we're going to teach some of the people who want to learn how to write cursive to write cursive. Because there's a lot of kids who do not know how to write that because there was a generation that didn't get taught that. We're going to be talking about with the financial literacy, what is a FICA score? How do you write a check? How do you balance a checkbook? What is your budget? All of those things are going to be happening. We're doing the Take Back MKE again because we're going to try to help with the curb the violence in Milwaukee. We are on a roll, and we can't do that without your support. Please support Wisconsin Voices. There's a donation button. Click there. You can give a lot of money. Somebody want to give $100,000, we cool. If you only want to give $10 every week or $10 a month or $20 a month, that all of that helps to pay Brian and Joe.
Yeah.
We appreciate
to do the work we do. We give scholarships out to some of our partners and read grants to our partners so they can do the work they do. This is what all this money comes in. So this is my hit. Please hit wisconsinvoices.org. We will be back tomorrow. They will be back tomorrow.
Policy day.
This is Be a Voice with Wisconsin Voice. I just took over y'all show. I'm leaving. I ain't coming back.
You're like a special guest that just slid in.
Oh, now I'm a special guest. All right. This is Be a Voice with the WNOV 860 AM 106.5 FM.
See y'all.
Bye.